Hi there, this is Sandra Longmore, and I am so happy to be here with you all. And today is episode number 23 of Hang Out with Sandra Longmore's show. And I'm just getting myself set up here. One thing about the Google Hangouts is you're a one-woman show, so I'm like clicking here and clicking there. So I have to ask you some questions, some really cool questions. Are you one of those people who would just love to know more about how your brain works? And would you like simple, quick, and effective tools and processes that would improve your life? I'm sure you would. Now, maybe you've also been wondering about Parkinson's disease. Maybe, in your own history, or you're just plain curious, or you have someone you know that you'd want to know more about alternatives to Parkinson's. Well, if you're wondering about any of these things, and maybe more things, you're in the right place at the right time. And this is because every week, the 3 Saturdays of the week, 3 Saturdays of the month, I create a show. And this is a show for uplifting and finding solutions for your life. And I also am going to talk to you about my upcoming 4-week Hangout series that's called Law of Attraction. Learn it the simple, fun way, because I'm all about fun. That's a high vibe. And some of the things that I'm talking today about in terms of Law of Attraction is all from that series. It's going to be really great. It's going to be launched by the end of November, I hope. So today's episode is number 23, Learn About Parkinson's Alternatives with Kimberly, Burnham, PhD. And I should add, much, much more inspiration. Now, as I said, I am here the first 3 Saturdays of every month, and I take the last Saturday off practicing self-care. And the time is 2 o'clock at Pacific Standard Time now. And love to have you come and join my show. You can also find the shows also on my internet site, and you can find them on YouTube later. So who am I anyway, this lady talking to you? Well, I'm Sandra Longmore, and what I do is I practice energy 24 hours out of the day because I think it's so fantastic to be able to know that I can harness my energy and I can make results happen that I want. And it's a lot of fun too. So I practice my own vibration 24 hours 7, and I'm getting better and better at it. And you too can. You too can do that. So vibration is part of a smaller word called vibe. And I like to also call it vibrazione. That's that word right there, vibrazione. I like it to call it vibrazione because that is Italian for vibration, and I think it sounds really romantic and cool. I like the Italian language. So what did I do then when I first started out learning about Law of Attraction is I just said, give me more. And I went out and I got certified as a Law of Attraction trainer. I'm certified as a Law of Attraction life coach. And I got an advanced certification in Energy Master through Karen Marks. And I'm also a published author, a speaker, and a teacher of art. I'm actually in my classroom. What you see around and back of me is drawings and paintings from my students. And most of all, it's all about loving life, and I like my life a lot. So I have created a community that I'd like to tell you about. It's called the Art of Living Ageless. And as one, I have it up here on my screen share. Can you see that, Kimberly? Can you see it?
No, I just see you.
You just see me.
Wait.
Darn it. It's not working. I see it. Maybe it'll be on the tape. Anyway,
Yeah.
It's called The Art of Living Ageless, and you can find it. Where is it? I thought I could get that other thing up there, so Here, so it's the Art of Living Ageless. That's my Google Plus community. And I'd love to have you join that community, and we can talk more about shows and whatever is happening in your life. So get on over there to Google Plus and get involved. So it's all about, the community is all about thoughts, beauties, and solutions. You know, I am an artist, so I like these images that I'm flashing in front of the screen. So that community is kind of like a mastermind where your viewers can ask questions and guests and everything can happen. So it's kind of like a mastermind where we all help each other. Just kind of like this hangout show is where we all help each other, because that's where we're stronger. Now, to get you up to speed, if you're turning into this program for a first time, and I know some of you are either here live or you're going on YouTube and listening to the show on YouTube, it's all about practicing and learning energy and how to get energy to work for you. And in my coaching practice and in my life, I've learned about a certain law, and that's the law of the universe. It's called the law of attraction. Now, I think you probably have heard about law of attraction, especially if you use words like meant to be or coincidence or gosh, I'm so surprised when that happens. Those words are all evidence of the law of attraction. Now, you know, law of attraction is not a person, it's not an angel, it's not a parking angel, it's none of those things. It's an energy. And I could go way into the quantum mechanics, but that's not really necessary. All what you need to know is that if you pay attention to it and work with it, the law of attraction will work with you. And the way you figure out how to get it, how to harness it like this, and how to harness that law of attraction is by your results. The results that you get, because everything is whatever you put your energy, focus, and desire on, you get more of. And so you tell about your results, because you and I are magnetic and we attract stuff, and that stuff is whatever you put your energy, focus, and desire on. And sometimes you say, Yahoo, I did that, I attracted that, and you're really happy. And sometimes you say, oh my gosh, I don't like that law of attraction. Why is it hanging around? Well, it just is. It's just hanging around all the time, 24 hours 7. And sometimes it's positive for you, and sometimes it's negative. So the whole idea is to learn how to make it work for you. And that's it in a nutshell. So more about law of attraction later, and you can also do the course when it comes up, learn more about how to do it simply. But today I'm really excited to get to our panel and reintroduce the topic. And the topic today is Parkinson's Learn about Parkinson's alternatives with Kimberly Burnham, PhD. And now I'd like to introduce my panel today, and we will start from right to left here, and we'll start with Kimberly Burnham. So Kimberly, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, we're going to talk, I think, a little bit later about how Sandra and I met, but it was through writing, and I do a lot of writing, but I also work in alternative medicine, and today I'm going to talk about 4 exercises from my book, Parkinson's Alternatives.
Awesome.
And I have a PhD in integrative medicine.
Oh, by the way, yes.
By the way.
Okay. And our next panel member is Donna Mills. And Donna, tell us about yourself.
I'm a hand analyst, and it's very interesting to me to hear about what's going on with the brain from the Parkinson's perspective, and I'm eager to hear what Kimberly has to say, because what shows up in our hands is so much a function of what goes from our brains to our hands. There's a lot of neural activity going back and forth, so things show up in your hands that you may not even know or realize that are there. So that's who I am, that's what I do.
Awesome. And Donna's going to be on the program here and tell more about that, about the hand analysis on the 22nd, right?
Yes.
November 22nd. Yeah. So Saturday, November 22nd. Tune in to learn more. So, Kimberly and I, we met in Baltimore a few years ago, and we both heard the call to be in an anthology, and it was called Pebbles in the Pond. And it was a book. It's a book we created, and this is the book. And we took a year of being online with each other, and there were, I think, 42 of us. Wasn't there, Kimberly?
I see.
42?
Yep.
Yeah. And so we took a year being online, 42 people talking about their chapter and what part they were going to do for the anthology. And it was such a powerful, powerful experience for me. And it really did change my path, my life path. Besides becoming a published author, it launched me into so many things. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm leaving that as a carrot. So the energy, talk about law of attraction. Here we are, two women, Kimberly from Connecticut, me from Washougal, Washington, and we were attracted to this anthology to put put words in a book, and then our paths crossed, and we've been working together in different venues ever since. So you never know what your next path or what your next opening is going to be. So it's just learning all about law of attraction is so exciting to know how to do those things and really to celebrate them and to just be a part of the bigger picture. We live in such a full, rich, succulent universe, and to be able to take part in what our part is really, really fun and exciting. So when Kimberly and I first met, there was another thing that happened from that meeting. So Kimberly, first of all, can you tell me what your impression was of our first meeting?
Right. I was meeting for the first time. There were about 25 people or something like that there, who I'd communicated with online in Facebook groups, etc., for quite a few months. And really, my first impression of Sandra is that, like, in person, it was really wonderful to meet you, because of the energy that you exude and the excitement and vibrancy that you exude. That for me, it didn't come through online as much. And so I really thought, wow, it's awesome to meet you, because it gave like a three-dimensionality and a much stronger impression of what is it at your core, when I met you.
Awesome. Didn't know I did all that. So as it turned out, there was some other stuff that came from us getting together. And we did the book. You can order this book, by the way, Pebbles in the Pond, and all of our individual stories are in there. But that was just a small part of what happened. So as it turned out, we were really part of a bigger global community. And Kimberly and I are both part of a community called CCN, Creating Calm Network. And this is where many of us have landed and have our own hangout shows, and we have an internet site and our own programs, all around the mission to be the change and to provide inspirational, motivational, healing, and uplifting program for a holistic and a healthy lifestyle and a sustainable planet. So that's the mission statement for CCN. And I really want Kimberly to talk later about CCN because it's just an incredible experience. It's so much fun to hang out, about be in the vicinity of all these people that are interested in being inspirational and motivational and having a healthy lifestyle for our planet. It's the most exciting thing in the world. But first I'm going to get back to the topic and introduce Kimberly further because she's got a lot here. So she has been called a lady to make a difference to the world. And I can really attest to that. Her work is amazing. And she knows how to live a life as an art in progress and as an ageless person because that's what she is and she does. She's remarkable. She's accomplished so much in her life. At the age of 54, as many people would have said, no, that's going to be way too hard. Guess what she did? She climbed on her bike and cycled over 3,000 miles across the United States of America for charity and put it on Facebook. So we got to follow it, those of us that were on her Facebook friends. And besides that, Kimberly is a published poet in several inner child press anthologies, including Healing Through Words and I Want My Poetry Too. Is there another word to that? I just put down I want my poetry too.
No, and
Kimberly.
it's just dot, 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 and then each poet was able to express in a poem what do they want their poetry to do.
I see.
So that is the title. Yeah.
Good. Now, Kimberly's going to come back and be with us in January, the first Saturday in January, so she's going to talk some more about this. That's a carrot for you to put on your calendar. And she's writing about that 3,000-mile journey that she made, which is going to be really spectacular. But today our topic is something different. It's kind of hard to limit Kimberly because she has done so much. So we're going to have her on the program as much as she can say she will. So our topic today is to learn about Parkinson's. So Kimberly, can you talk to us about your work and about brain health?
Yes, absolutely, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it and always love opportunities to communicate with a wider audience. And so I'm going to talk about 4 exercises from the book Parkinson's Alternatives. And these 4 exercises are things that anyone can do, and I think anyone can do. And they'll help you improve your brain health. If you have Parkinson's, they'll be particularly beneficial, but really they're good for anyone who wants to keep their brain alive and active. And so I'll just give you like a highlight of the 4 exercises, and then I'll explain each exercise. So number 1, I call the blinking exercise, where you just blink your eyes, and I'll explain that further. Then the second one is a tapping exercise where you tap on the side of your eye, and this comes from the emotional freedom technique, tapping. Exercise number 3, every time you get in your car or you go somewhere, think of a specific color and look for that color as you're driving along. And the color I'm going to talk about today is green, just because that's particularly associated with brain and muscle health. And then the 4th exercise, I call it long walking. And it's as you're walking, consciously for just a few minutes, take very long steps. And I'm going to talk about how that influences your brain. So exercise number 1, the blinking exercise. When we blink, we have our eyes shut for a period of time, and obviously that makes it very difficult to see. It's kind of like weightlifting for the eyes, because when your eyes are closed, you can't see. And so what it sends a message to your brain is, okay, she's going to be closing her eyes and you're not going to be able to see anything. So when your eyes are open, make sure you look. Really see what is around you. And the key to this exercise is as you're blinking, have a question in your mind. How many books am I seeing? How many people are in the room? How many trees are there outside my window? How many things can I see that are red? have some kind of sensory question in your mind that's about the number of things, the colors, how many square things can I see, how many round things. So about shape, color, number of things. What you're doing with the question is you're asking your brain to stay connected with your eyes, so that you don't get the situation where your brain says, she's doing that blinking exercise again. I'll just shut off, rest for a minute until she's finished. You don't want that to happen, because the whole point of the exercise is that you're asking your brain to seek out information, visual information, so that you'll pay attention and really draw that information in. And a lot of times when I do this with exercise with people, and you can try it right now, and that is just blink, and as you're looking around, ask yourself certain questions about colors, number of things, shapes, that sort of thing. And often people say to me, when they stop, like just do it for about 1 minute, when they stop doing it and just have their eyes open, it seems brighter. It always seems brighter to me. And I think it's because you're taking in more light. Your eyes are being more active in taking in information from your environment. And taking in that information, so number one, it helps that brain-eye coordination so that we can understand and interpret what we're seeing. So that's number one. Number two, your vision is associated with your muscle system. So that we talk about hand-eye coordination, for example. And in Parkinson's, one of the problems is that there's a lack of coordination between your brain and your muscle system. And so this exercise helps to bring back some of that coordination between moving, between the muscles, between what you're seeing, what information your brain is taking in. So this is an exercise that you can do pretty much any time. I would suggest it a couple of times a day, just for 30 seconds, blinking and looking around and asking yourself a question. All right, exercise number 2 comes from a set of exercises called emotional freedom technique or tapping, and the side of the eye, the point here at the side of the eye, it's associated with the gallbladder. And the gallbladder in traditional Chinese medicine is associated with a couple of things. First of all, it's associated with the eyes and with vision. It's also associated with the muscles and that coordination between your nervous system, your muscles, your organ systems, the gallbladder. And what I found is that tapping on the side of the eye, and you can do both sides at the same time or one side at a time, but tapping on the side of the eye, it stimulates the gallbladder. One of the things that the gallbladder does is it helps us digest fats. And you may know this, that your nervous system has a layer of fat around it. And that helps the signals to move more easily. And so there are some conditions like multiple sclerosis, for example, where that fat layer starts to degrade. And so the healthier your gallbladder is, the healthier your nervous system is going to be. And so just tapping, again, for 30 seconds or something like that. And if you want to put your thoughts or focus your energy as well, you can think about where your gallbladder is. It's just behind and a little bit below the liver, which is on the right-hand side of your body. If you put the lower edge of your hand along the lower rib cage, and then the rest of the hand just resting over the rib cage, your hand will be over your liver and your gallbladder. And in traditional Chinese medicine, liver and gallbladder are associated. They're what are called paired organs. They're the yin and yang of being able to help our bodies to heal, to detoxify, so that we can feel better. Which brings me to the third exercise, which the gallbladder meridian and the liver meridian in traditional Chinese medicine is also associated with the color green. Each of the organs are associated with a different color, but the color of detoxification, of healing, of your immune system feeling good is considered to be the color green. So there are lots of ways to use color. In the chakra system, the 7 chakras, the color green is associated with the heart chakra. So you can also think of the color green associated with your heart and healthy blood flow and heart function, both physical heart function and also your ability to take in love, to give love, to really appreciate that aspect of your life. But one exercise that you can do with colors is to, as you're outside, as you are driving or walking or even sitting in your house, you can do this exercise where you look around and you look at everything that's green and you think about what do you see that's green, and you really pay attention to the color green. And you know, there are thoughts on the vibration, that each color has a different vibration, right, a different frequency, and that the color green, if we really pay attention to it, really take it in, if you match that up with either the chakra system, which is an energy medicine approach, or traditional Chinese medicine, which is an energy medicine approach, then that color, the color green, is associated with the immune system, with the heart, and that by paying attention to the color green, you're taking in that energy that will help your physical body as well as your mental and emotional states, which, you know, if you think about traditional Chinese medicine, the color green associated with the liver and the gallbladder, the emotion associated with that is anger. So if you want to manage your anger, to be able to release it in a positive way, to harness it to do something great, to let go of any destructive aspects of that, again, the color green can be beneficial. The fourth exercise that I wanted to talk about was what I call long walking. And there's some amazing research out of Harvard business professor Amy Cuddy. You can watch her video online. And she talks about the relationship between our body posture and our chemistry. And she says, you know, if you sit like this and you're like completely open and relaxed and really open to the world around you, that your cortisol, which is the chemical that gets you stressed, that goes down. So your stress level goes down, and testosterone, which is the chemical that helps you to feel powerful, to feel like, I can do this, I can do amazing things in the world, that your testosterone goes up, your cortisol level goes down, simply by sitting for 2 minutes like this. Or she sometimes talks about the Wonder Woman or Superman posture. So arms on your hips, standing, you know, standing in a powerful way. And, you know, sometimes people say, fake it until you make it. And what she's shown with her research is that literally by doing something that is a sign of being powerful, right? Standing in a powerful way is a sign that you feel powerful. Even if you don't feel powerful, if you stand in that way, you literally, from a chemical, brain chemistry and body chemistry perspective, you become more powerful. And how does this relate to long walking? Well, with Parkinson's disease, one of the things that happens, one of the problems, is that you start to get what's called a shuffling gait, which is a very short way of walking, your very short steps, shuffling along. And using Amy Cuddy's research, what I've been doing is having people that have a very short step or an unsteady, unbalanced step, is to help them to consciously think about, okay, take as long a step as you can, and then another long step, and another long step. And I believe that it literally is changing your chemistry, changing what's going on. And the chemistry associated with Parkinson's disease is dopamine. Dopamine, there's too little dopamine in Parkinson's disease. And so I don't have exact evidence on it, but I think that we can literally, by doing something that is challenging for people with Parkinson's or people with low dopamine, we can start to change that and influence our chemistry in a positive way. And really the evidence that I have is that in working with people with Parkinson's, having them do this long walking, working hands-on with them, using visualization and exercises, that they literally start to be able to walk more balanced, walk with greater steps, have less tremoring, have better facial affect, all of these things that the chemistry is changing. So, being able to turn that around. So really, those were the four exercises that I wanted to share with you today. That, as I mentioned, great exercises for people with Parkinson's, and also anyone who wants to improve their brain health.
Just amazing. Amazing how that, wow, you just really opened my eyes on a lot of things. So I would kind of like to hear from Donna and me too about what one thing kind of really stood out. And I think I'll go first, Donna, if that's okay.
Sure.
So the one thing that stood out for me with what Kimberly just said is, well, I'm an artist, so I always tell my students and myself too that I think through art, people see more. They really live a bigger, brighter life because they look for color and they look for shape and they look for pattern. And when they're driving, they see all these things that other people don't see. And I've kind of tested that out with some people who are writing with me from time to time. So to think that that's also changing my chemistry is really exciting. So I like that, and I love that blinking exercise. I'm going to try that as soon as we're done here. So Donna, let's hear from you.
I really was impressed with this research that you were talking about, Kimberly, where by sitting, with, you're in an open aspect and an open posture like that,
Yeah.
How that impacts you. And it strikes me because I was noticing in yoga class, of course, that my teacher, you're talking about opening your heart, and that is one of the things that you do. You put your shoulders back and you really open up. It makes you more vulnerable, but I think it also makes you stronger. And I was just kind of thinking of it too in terms of body posture in general. What do you think when you see somebody that's all hunched over with their head hanging down?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this is somebody who's either really sad or they're afraid or, kind of being surrounded by challenging emotions that they're having a hard time dealing with. And when you're up and open, fake it till you make it. I really appreciate that idea. And then the long the long strides.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really interesting to see as you're working with people. And I did want to ask, can you reverse some of the symptoms of Parkinson's by doing these exercises, or are these more preventive?
It's both. I did my PhD study with a man who had had Parkinson's for 4 years, and at about a month period, uh, according to his neurologist, he improved about 15%. And in terms of his walking, his balance, his decreased tremors, his ability to do activities of daily living, and to put that into perspective, the medical system expects people to get worse at a rate of 4% per year, kind of no matter what they do. And so, in a sense, we turned back the clock 3 or 4 years on his symptoms.
Wow, that's really impressive.
Awesome. Whew, that was a lot, Kimberly. I loved it. So I know our viewers are going to want to know how to hear more from you and how to hear more about Donna. So how can they get a hold of you? So Kimberly, you go first. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, the best place to go is Parkinson's Alternatives creatingcalmnetwork.com, and that will take you to a page where there are other shows that I've done on Parkinson's disease, on brain health, as well as a link to get my book on Amazon. But Parkinson's Alternatives creatingcalmnetwork.com.
Awesome. And Donna, where can we get a hold of you?
Oh, you can go take a look at a little bit about hand analysis and what I do at Prints on Purpose, like fingerprints, handprintsonpurpose.com.
Awesome. And I'm really looking forward to both your programs when you come back on hangoutwithsandra.com. So to get a hold of me, it's all under my name, Sandra Longmore. And my internet site is hangoutwithsandralongmore.com. You can also get me through Sandra Longmore. All the social media is under sandralongmore.com. So we would all love to hear more from you, viewer. So just go ahead and get a hold of us. And more next week. Next week is going to be another program, and I will be announcing that in the events section on Google+. So bye for now. Have a fantastic, wonderful week.